Hi, Year 11. I'm going to do quickly the paper 2, question from the homework. I've already done this video, so this is going to be like ultra fast. Now, remember that for paper 2, question 1 is only 4 marks, and you're only meant to spend 5 minutes on it. Now, one of the things that I always recommend is that you read the statements first, and then you go to the source. Because then, as you're reading the source, you'll be able to see whether you agree or disagree with certain things. Now, it says here, using source B, shade the boxes of the 4 true statements. Now, remember that the boxes in the actual exam will have little circles like this, okay? And you're meant to shade those circles. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on the time, and even though I'm talking through this, you'll see that actually this question takes 5 minutes. Now, I'll tell you to pause after every bit, so then you can find your own answers. Now, the first thing that I do is I always read the statement. So I've got, the crimes took place in Bosnia. 9 children were found living in awful conditions. The gang leader was called Fadin. The children were smuggled into Spain illegally. Both men and women worked in the organization. Each child had to steal 5,000 euros a day. And the people are being held in the south of France. The children were taught how to commit the crimes. Now, if you wish to pause the video now and go to the source and read the source and find the answers yourself, please do so. You do not have to listen to me. But if you want to hear me read the text, I can read the text to you now, and then I'll remind you to pause again. So here's the text. It says, it's an article from The Sun in 2016. Oliver Twist, modern-day Fagin, who forced gang of migrant children pickpockets to steal from Brit tourists, is arrested in Spain. So, a modern-day Fagin who forced a gang of child pickpockets to steal from British tourists in Spain has been arrested. Cops say the gang leader, named locally as Hasim Sejic, 44, sent out an army of workers every morning to find victims like the Charles Dickens character in Oliver Twist. 9 girls living in slum-like conditions were discovered during a raid on one of the properties used by the gang. Bosnian Sejic, who was one of the 16 people held in Barcelona during an operation involving local police in the Catalan capital, Spanish National Police, and Europe. Officers believe that Fagin's figure area of operations extended across Spain as well as the south of France. A spokesman for Spain's National Police said, the 16 people held in Barcelona are suspected of forcing women that came from Bosnia, including several minors, to work as pickpockets in Spanish tourist areas and on public transport. The organization, composed of different family groups, traded the youngsters, exchanging them and transferring them to different cities for around 5,000 euros. In one of the searches in Barcelona, 9 minors who weren't being schooled were found living in awful conditions. A statement from the force added, they were taught how to steal from victims and smuggled into Spain with fake IDs. The clan, based principally in Barcelona, was organized around the figure of a patriarch who directed operations in the whole of Spain and the south of France. Underneath the patriarch, a perfectly structured organization existed with female and male lieutenants. Now, if you wish to pause the video here, please do so. If you want to listen to me for a bit longer, stay tuned. Okay, so now I've read the source, and actually as I was reading the source, I've already got some ideas in terms of what I think is true and what is false. So when I go back to the source, I start deciding which statements are true or false. So the crimes took place in Bosnia. Well, I'm sure that's false just by reading actually the introduction. It said that they took place in Spain. So I'm going to say that's false. 9 children were found living in awful conditions. Now, to be honest, I've got the number 9 twice. I've got 9 girls living in slum-like conditions. And then I've got 9 minors who weren't being schooled, were living in awful conditions. So I feel that actually that bit was right. So I'm going to say that that's true. The gang leader was called Fagin. No, the gang leader was not called that. They mentioned that this gang leader, Hasim Sejic, is like this character from a Charles Dickens novel. So that is actually false. So I'm going to give that false. The children were smuggled into Spain illegally. Now, that is definitely, so it says here, smuggled into Spain with fake IDs. Now, if you carry fake IDs, that is illegal. So, that is true. Both men and women work in the organization. So, when I go back to the source, they mention men, males, and females. So, it says a perfectly structured organization existed with females and male lieutenants. Actually, so that must be true. Now, they always put something maybe with facts and figures there, because as soon as people see this, they think true, but you have to check that just in case. So it says each child had to steal 5,000 euros a day. Now, let's see what it says about the 5,000 euros. It's here. The organization composed of different family groups traded the youngsters, exchanging them. So actually, it's not that the children had to make, that's how much they paid to steal the children. So this is false. Now, I'm kind of checking, I've got 1, 2, 3 truths. So the last two, one of those must be true, the other one must be false. So the people are being held in the south of France. Now, I'm sure that's false, because he said Bosnian Cedric was one of the 16 people held in Barcelona, and that is in Spain. So that one is false. The children were taught how to commit crimes. That is true. So now I count how many I have. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I shade my true statements, and that is me done. Now, year 11, this has taken me almost 7 minutes, and you need to remember that it's probably taking me 7 minutes because I'm chatting. And throughout it, I'm reading out loud, I'm making comments. It probably will only take you 5 minutes if you do it on your own. But tips, read the statements first, then look for the answers, double check once I have got facts and figures, and then kind of see, write it on the side, and then fill in your little shady circles. Okay? I hope this helps. Thank you. Bye.